What is taste? And can it ever be called good? Everyone has one, yet no one can quite define it. Who decides what's refined and what's vulgar? Who draws the invisible line between good and bad taste? And why do we let them? Philosopher Giorgio Agamben, in his book Profanations, explored this question of artistic taste. He wrote that taste is not the same as morality, a crucial distinction we often forget. In ancient Greece, what was right was also beautiful. Virtue and beauty were one and the same. To act well was to act beautifully. A moral gesture carried aesthetic grace. But somewhere between the 20th and 21st centuries, this harmony shattered. Morality became an ethical code and taste a matter of opinion. We no longer ask, is it good, but do I like it? Taste was once a reflection of the soul. Now it's a social signal, a language of belonging and exclusion, a way of saying, I'm not like them. There is no such thing as good or bad taste. Taste isn't a moral compass, it's a social construct. What we call refined or cheap usually says less about the object and more about us. Taste grows from the soil of our upbringing, our wealth, our education, our cultural environment. It changes as we move through life, shaped by the people we admire and the worlds we step into. Think about it. Kate Middleton, Kim Kardashian, and Rihanna. 3 women often labeled style icons. Yet, each represents a completely different world. Kate's taste reflects heritage and restraint, the quiet luxury of tradition, a language of grace that whispers rather than shouts. Her elegance tells the story of continuity, of knowing your place in a system built long before you. Kim's aesthetic speaks the opposite dialect. It's curated boldness, a taste shaped by visibility and modern power. Her world doesn't whisper, it amplifies. It turns the person into spectacle, luxury into lifestyle. And then there is Rihanna, the disruptor. Her taste refuses translation. It borrows from high fashion, street culture, rebellion, and softness all at once. A living collage of self-expression. Each of them reflects a different social rhythm, a different tribe, a different version of beautiful. So when we say someone has good taste, what we really mean is they have taste like ours. Today we live in what philosophers call the Metamodern era, a world built from fragments of everything that came before. Just a quick reminder, all of the materials I use are listed in the description with affiliate links in case you want to explore them yourself. And if you would like to go deeper, to draw, to slow down, to reconnect, you can visit my website. You will find free resources there and downloadable prints of my work as small reminders to pose and breathe color back into your day. In the past, the separation between good and bad, between the right people and the wrong ones, wasn't just an opinion, it was a weapon. Philosopher Jean-François Lyotard wrote that this obsession with grand truth, with one single idea of what's right and beautiful, helped lead humanity into 2 world wars. When the world finally began to heal, our culture quietly changed direction. We stepped into pluralism, a space where there is no single answer, no universal taste, no authority that decides what's worthy. We learn painfully that one truth is too dangerous, that people don't want to be punished for belonging to the wrong group. And so today we live among countless micro worlds of taste, each with its own rules, its own idols, its own sense of beauty. Streetwear and haute couture, minimalism and maximalism, quiet luxury, and neon chaos. No one aesthetic dominates, no single culture claims the crown, because taste in the end is not a hierarchy, it's a map. A reflection of where we've come from and the worlds we are still trying to build. Our era is also defined as commercialization of culture. In the 18th century, culture belonged to the elite. Art, music, literature, they lived behind closed doors, guarded by class and education. To appreciate a symphony or a painting was a privilege reserved for those who could afford both leisure and learning. But by the 20th century, the gates opened. Cultural products became affordable. Records, cinema, photography, television. The world's beauty, once hidden in salons, was now pressed into vinyl, printed on posters, streamed into living rooms. And with that democratization came a paradox. When culture becomes available to everyone, it starts to lose its exclusivity, its aura of high taste. Art was no longer only to be admired, it was to be consumed. The philosopher Theodor Adorno warned about this. He saw the new culture industry as a factory where art and entertainment blurred into one. The line between good and bad taste dissolved. Everything mixed together in one glossy stream of consumption. Yet perhaps there is a wisdom in that mix, because maybe what Adorno called a danger is also an opportunity to complicate our artistic vision, to challenge what we think we know. Art doesn't just show us the world, it teaches us how to see it. It sharpens perception, asks us to notice details we've stopped paying attention to. It reminds us that beauty is not what we own, but what we perceive, and that the truest form of taste is curiosity. It's hard to resist the comfort of black and white world. Heroes on one side, villains on the other. Good taste, bad taste, right and wrong, neatly divided, like childhood fairy tales we never quite grew out of. But the world has changed. Art has changed, and so have we. Think of the film Joker. Once he was the clear villain, a maniac to be stopped by a hero. But in the recent retelling, the story begins before the madness. We see his loneliness, his humiliation, his small attempts to belong in a world that keeps rejecting him. And suddenly, the villain becomes human. We find ourselves sympathizing with the darkness because now we understand where it came from. And that's metamodernism, a world no longer satisfied with one simple truth. It's the understanding that people, like art, exist in contradictions. We can be kind and cruel, selfish and loving, beautiful and flawed, sometimes all in the same day. The same goes for taste. There is no good or bad anymore, only context, only communities that share the same language of beauty. One person's masterpiece is another's chaos. One generation's scandal is another's classic. And none of it is wrong. Because when we learn to look without judging, when we stop ranking art, people, and ideas by old rules, we begin to see the full spectrum again. Not black and white, but everything in between. Maybe that's the real beauty of our time, that we no longer need to agree to what's beautiful. Art, just like people, has earned the right to contradict itself. It can be loud or fragile, chaotic or still, elitist or naive, and still carry meaning. Because the moment we stop defending good taste, we start defending life itself, in all its confusion and color. As artists, we learn that the goal isn't to please everyone or to fit into a style that feels safe. The goal is to see, to stay awake to what moves us, to notice the invisible threads between beauty and pain, to create without asking permission. Taste was never meant to divide us. It was meant to remind us how differently we all feel, and how miraculous it is that we still find beauty in such different things. So maybe the truest form of good taste is simply this: to remain curious, to look closer, and to let the world once again astonish you.